first sort of Q&A and weigh-in, our Q and weigh. Oh, I'm a dork. Hi everybody, my name is Rosalie and welcome back to my channel, back to Chubby. Today is another weigh-in and I thought I'd try and do something a little bit different this week and sort of do a Q&A, but I know I didn't ask you guys for any Q's, so I'm just going to try and answer some of the questions that I've got over and over and over, and some of the statements that people have made over and over. And so we'll do the weigh-in real quick, and then I'll answer some of your questions. And I'm thinking of trying to do this at least once or twice a month, so let's try and do like a real Q&A video. So if you guys have any questions that you want to ask me, or things that you want to know about me, then go ahead and leave me a comment down below, and then in the next Q&A video I will try and get to some of those. I've also thought of trying to do like one of the live chats, but I don't know if that's something a lot of people are interested in, and I've got such a weird schedule that I don't know when I'd be able to do it unless it was a weekend or an evening. So if that's something you guys are interested in, then leave me a comment down below for that as well. First, let's go ahead and talk about the weigh-in, partially because it relates to some of the questions that I want to answer today. So let's do that first.
Hello. It's ready. £368.6 pounds.
Okay, so I didn't actually weigh last Friday because we were out of town visiting family after a death in the family, and so I didn't weigh in, and I didn't weigh in that week, and I thought I was going to have gained weight, and if I did, then I lost that and then some. Because the week before I was at 370.8. So this week 368.6 means that I've lost 2.2 pounds since 2 weeks ago. And that kind of relates to a question that I want to answer, but I'll get to that in a second. So to break down the stats real quick, let's see if I can actually do this quickly. So if you're new to my channel, or if you aren't aware, I started out at 435 pounds and I needed to lose 277 pounds. So far, 368.6 means that I've lost 66.4 pounds. So that means I still have 110.6 pounds left to go, 210.6 pounds left to go to get to my goal weight of 158. But so far I've lost over 15% of my starting body weight, and I'm about 24% of the way to my goal, or like have lost about 24% of that 277 pounds that I need to lose. I'm also 0.6 pounds away from my current short-term goal, which is 368. And the reason I chose 368 is because that will put me at 25% of the way to my goal. And I'm so close. I'll hit it next week. I also do have a short-term weight loss goal of, I want to say like 365.8 is what I was supposed to get to for the diet bet, and that weigh-in's on Sunday. So I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. That's okay though, it's a long-term diet bet. Even if you don't make your short-term goals like monthly, you can still stay in for the long run. So we'll see. Don't think it's gonna happen, but you never know. So while we're on the topic of my loss for this week, I want to talk, or I want to answer some questions. So as far as the Q&A goes, I've tried to pick some this time that I've gotten multiple times, or that I've gotten fairly recently. And there are a lot of them, well, I'm not going to do a lot today, but there are many of them that I get asked by a lot of different people, or I get asked over and over, and I'm not going to put all of them up here right now. I'm just going to sort of pick an example of that question. One of the most recent people who's asked me this, well, this is sort of a multi-part question from London Calling. The first part is, why is your cat limping? So I've gotten this before, and when he's shown up in other videos, so I figured I would just show you guys, because I figured people wouldn't believe me unless I tried to illustrate it somehow. See, just sit still. Okay, but stay there while I walk around. No, I'm trying to show people. See, you're making it real hard to just get a picture of you. Gotta turn around. Come here. Okay, can you see your butt down? Can you see your butt down? Okay, but look over here. Anyway, the reason he limps is because this shoulder, if you can see, is about an inch taller than this shoulder. He's got one foot that's longer than the other. Don't you, Quinzer? Yeah. Yeah. But he's okay. Just a little limpy. Yeah. And also epileptic. The second part of their question is, how do you justify gaining weight every time there's a regular life crisis? There are multiple events per year that could create a weight gain scenario, and food is a comfort factor. And have you considered professional counseling to deal with this? Okay, so there's a few different parts to that to unpack. So let's start with the first one, which is, how do you justify gaining weight every time there's regular life crisis? I don't think I justify it, but I don't think that, because to me, justifying would imply that I'm saying it's okay and it's right and it's normal and I'm defending it and very close to advocating for it, and I'm not. I'm just acknowledging that it happened, and when I say things like, I'm all right with it this week, it doesn't mean that I'm like, I'm perfectly fine and happy and okay that I've gained weight. In the grand scheme of things, with finding out that some people have died, finding out some people in the family have cancer, finding out other people have had a heart attack, all in the span of 3 days, it was not the top of my priority list. If I gained a couple pounds, there's other more important things, like the people in our family, caring for them, talking to them, seeing them, my husband's grief. Those are more important to me than a couple pounds. Now, there are other times where it's like, well, we had to go out of town and I gained a few pounds, and I always gain weight when I travel. Again, I'm not trying to justify it. I'm saying that's what happens. And am I saying it's okay or right? No. But it did happen. I think just not acknowledging it wouldn't be very healthy either. And I feel like I've been very open and upfront since like the second video when I say that I use food as a response to a lot of stuff. I could probably be considered a food addict, and that I use food for comfort, and that I use it when I'm angry or sad or happy or to celebrate or to just distract myself, and I'm very aware of that. And to continue with that, like, have I sought counseling for it? Yes. And the first time I was in therapy, I was around 15 or 16 years old. I do have an addictive personality. I have been diagnosed with depression and anxiety and some anger issues. And then for a while I was a teenager and in high school, I was on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medicine. The anti-anxiety medicine was fine, but the antidepressants made me feel worse. And it was sort of annoying though, because people around me kept telling me it was easier for them to be around me when I was on the antidepressants. So even though I felt worse, it was better for them, which doesn't help when you're already feeling down. And as many people have pointed out, I'm kind of depressing, and I know I am. But even though like I seem depressing a lot, I mean, I am depressed. I don't know what to tell you, and that's just how it is. And I have good days, I have fine days, and sometimes I have manic days. Sometimes I have like manic weeks, and then I will have really long stretches of depression, and sometimes I'm just fine and sort of middle of the road. It just sort of depends. But trying to be upbeat and happy and like energetic when I don't feel that way is exhausting for me. The more I try and pretend like everything's fine, the worse I feel, and then when I crash harder. So I've tried to just get to the point where I just let myself be how I feel. And I say this with a lot of love. Just like I'm a downer for some people to be around, people who are like happy and peppy and stuff are just exhausting for me to be around. I can't do it for very long without needing to like go home and be by myself and decompress. So I think it goes both ways. I have sought counseling, and then for a while there I stopped and I just couldn't afford it. If you guys have ever been to like a psychiatrist or a therapist, it can get pretty expensive, especially if your health insurance doesn't cover it or if you don't have health insurance. And while I was a student at the university and while I was teaching at the university, I had access to free counseling, but then I sort of broke out on my own and no longer have any coverage that would pay for it. And so I don't have like $200 a week or something to go to a therapist. So I've been looking into something else online. I'm thinking of starting to do some stuff on there, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. Yeah, I've still got problems, but I can't fix them all at once, is what I'm trying to get at. And I'm not trying to like attack anybody, like any one person for any question, because some of them are valid questions and some of them are even phrased pretty nicely, like constructively, I guess you could say. I'm just trying to answer them without holding stuff back. Okay, so I hope that answered the question and I didn't come across it's really bitchy because I wasn't trying to. But let's move on to another question, because this is getting a lot longer than I mean for it to. What about juicing? I have done juicing. And actually, I think next week I'm gonna upload a video talking about some of the diets I've done in the past and some of the things I've tried that have and haven't worked and to what degree. I'm not gonna upload them all at once. It's gonna have to be like a part one because I've tried a lot of crap and a lot of good things, but I've tried a lot of stuff. So I will go more in depth on that next week. Same thing about Weight Watchers. I've tried Weight Watchers and I'll talk about it next week. Crystal Edmondson asked like if I feel any different now that I've lost so much weight. Yes and no. Like, depression's still there, anxiety's still there. I still don't have a lot of confidence. I mean, I might be a little bit more confident, but only in certain circles and certain settings. But I mean, and this sort of relates to another comment I've gotten where people are like, well, you seem to have a nice house and you have a husband and you have a job and you're losing weight and you shouldn't be depressed. That's not how depression works. And I know it's hard, like when you're in a bad position and you see someone in a perceivably better situation and they're still depressed and you feel like they don't have a right to be. But everybody can be depressed and everybody can get down, and clinical diagnosable depression, not just like going through a depression or being a little bit down, but having depression is a chemical thing. It's a chemical imbalance, and there are things you can do to alleviate it besides medicine, like exercising and eating better, getting out in the sun, but that doesn't always cut it. So like, yeah, I feel a little bit better, and I feel a little bit better eating better. I feel better about my choices, so that helps me not feel so down on myself. But by and large, I'm still the fat girl, you know what I mean? I still feel like the fat chick in the room, because I am. It's also one of those things where I've lost, 66 pounds now? It doesn't seem like it. It doesn't feel like it. And that answer I know has sort of spiraled out to other things, two of which are other things I want to cover. Also, quick shout out to Kinsey because she just made my day. Sort of a related question is, has my mindset changed? Yes and no. I'm still trying to work on it, and it's still something I'm trying to work on. And it said that it takes like 6 weeks of constantly doing something to make it a habit, which is great. When I'll get through like 4 weeks and then I do something and I completely just derail myself and I go back to my old habits, that doesn't help me. And I'm trying to change my mindset. And like I think I said in my second video I ever uploaded, I'm trying really hard to change my mindset about food and trying to view it just as fuel and something you do for your body and something you do to keep yourself alive and nourish yourself, rather than how I've been treating it for most of my life. But again, it's a work in progress, and that's all I can keep doing is keep trying. Christine Bridges asks, more active? I assume she's asking like if I've started adding exercises or if I am more active or if being more active would help. Yes. I have started doing swimming classes, and I've only been going once a week, and I've missed a few weeks, but I've been doing pretty good about using our Blowflex at least once a week every week, which is not very much. So like an hour of cardio once a week, really light cardio, because it's like a swim class that's meant for people with bad joints. And the Bowflex, I just do like 30 minutes once a week. That's not a lot, and I do it pretty low intensity, but I'm trying to purposely keep myself from hurting myself again. Which comes to another question from Jeannie Hubbard. As a chronic pain sufferer, when you talk about your knee, I always wondered if you ever got relief for your pain. Is the pain from something you can get fixed? Yes and no. Like, there are certain things that can be fixed and some things that can't be fixed. I'll upload another video talking about exactly what's wrong with my knees and what needs to happen and what has happened to them. But there's a list of things that's wrong. Losing 60 plus pounds has helped a tiny bit, but the weight is only a part of the problem. So, yeah. I'll upload another video talking about that more in depth. Where did I get my glasses? I get asked this a lot. This is from Zenny Optical, which is a website where you just upload your prescription and you upload a picture of yourself. I'm not sponsored, by the way. Just throw that out there. I just really like green, and these were one of the only ones that seemed to be semi-flattering for my face shape. If you just Google Zenny, Z-E-N-N-I, these are... I don't know. I'll put the frame number here if you like them. They also come in red. Pamela G asked if I've noticed that my skin looks better. Yes and no. It kind of has its days just like I do. It gets sort of moody. Sometimes it's probably makeup that it looks good in videos. But today I'm not wearing anything. And, just to prove it, I guess. Because it's YouTube and you have to prove things. So it sort of has its days. Weeks when I get more water, it looks better. And weeks when I have more fruit and vegetables than meat, it looks better. I've also noticed, though, that some weeks when I have more fruit and vegetables and less meat, I feel more depressed. I don't know what that is, and I'm not saying there's a definite correlation, because if you are familiar with statistics at all, you know correlation is not causation, but it's just something I've noticed. So, thanks. Stephanie Levon asked if I've ever considered tracking my macros. I do, kind of. And that flows into another question I get a lot, which is if I use MyFitnessPal. I do. And normally, though, I will just, upload one day for the week, which is my meal plan, and then I know what all the macros are, and I know what the calories and stuff are, and then that's just my meal for the rest of the week, so I don't have to log it every day. And then when I lose weight, then I have to upload it or update it and stuff to see if my max has dropped at all, things like that. But otherwise, I usually just use it once or twice a week. And then on my cheat days, I'll also use it. So people ask me what kind of film setup I use and what kind of editing software I use and stuff like that. Right now, this is my setup, which is a ring light and an iPad, if you can't tell, neither of which I bought. Before this, I was using my cell phone, but it didn't have very much memory at all, so I could only record 2 or 3 minutes, stop, upload it to my computer, delete it off my phone, record another 2 or 3 minutes, stop, and then keep doing that over and over. And I was just having such a hard time, and it was making it really tedious to record and to upload videos and do the editing. So my parents got me for this for Christmas, so thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. Up until then, Christmas, I was using VHDC Video Editor, which is a free video editing software that can actually do a lot of stuff. And I was pretty much just sort of scratching the surface. And it's sort of hard to get the hang of, but once you do, it it's pretty powerful. Like, it doesn't look great, it looks a little clunky, and there's no real walkthroughs or tutorials, but it's free and it does a lot. It does some stuff that this won't do. So now I just use iMovie on the iPad because it's all on there and I don't have to do a lot to it. If you guys are interested in a VHDC video editor tutorial, like if you're trying to get started and you need some free software, then just leave me a comment down below and let me know, and I'd be happy to do it, because I couldn't really find any on YouTube, which I thought was strange. You can find a tutorial for everything on YouTube, but not that, which was weird. So it was a lot of trial and error. But I'm a lot faster at editing videos. Like, when I first started, it took me several hours to edit every video, and now it takes me, depending on the length of the video, anywhere from like 20 minutes to an hour. So way better. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I didn't come across as like super snarky. I'm not trying to, but let me know down in the comments below if you have any other questions that you'd like me to answer in a Q&A, or a Q&A. I kind of like it. We'll go with it. If you have any other questions you want me to answer, or if there's things I didn't get to, or if I didn't clarify something here clearly enough, I'd be happy also again to do a live stream if that's something you guys are interested in. But anyway, just a reminder, you guys can find me on social media with the username BackToChubby, all one word. And you can also visit my blog, backtochubby.wordpress.com, if you want to get some of my shopping lists and grocery information and the nutrition of what I've been eating recently. I don't think I updated it this past week, so I'll get on that. I'll work on that. I'll let you guys know how it's going with the counseling service I'm going to start trying to use online, because from what I understand, it's really easy to access. So yeah, I will keep you guys updated on all that. I hope wherever you guys are, you are safe and happy and healthy. I hope your weather is as beautiful as it is here today. And wherever you are, and however far along your journey you are, remember to just keep trying. I will see you sometime next week. Bye.